Hi everybody, it's Erin from Papery, and today I'm working once again on my garden collage journal, and today I am decorating the cover. So I am starting out with a piece of embroidery that I worked on some time ago. I kind of finished it over Christmas when I had COVID, and I'm just measuring about how large that happy little piece of floral is, and I'm trying to find a hoop that'll be big enough to kind of go around it. I would like to cut it out in a circle shape, so I'm just looking for a hoop that's big enough. So I'm going to use this one and grab a piece of mixed media paper and trace that circle onto the paper and cut it out. Do that as nicely as I can. It's not going to be perfect. Make sure that it's big enough to cover the whole design. Just grabbing my wooden turntable, and I'm just going to, on the opposite side of the stitching, I'm just going to give this a little bit of steam ironing to flatten out some of the wrinkles. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but just trying to get it to lay a little bit flatter and nicer. The other thing I'm doing is steaming it on the front end, because what I did was used a water-soluble pen to sketch out my design before I stitched it, and I just want to make sure I'm getting rid of all those little pieces. So I'm also taking a water brush and just kind of dissolving the last little remaining bits of pen. All right, now it's time to adhere the paper circle to the back of the embroidered design. So I'm going to smooth some Eileen's tacky glue on my disc of paper with my silicone brush, center it over my design as best I can, and smooth it all out till it's nice and flat, making sure to press it in well so that it's just really well adhered. Next, I'm taking some clear nail polish and I'm going around the entire circumference of the circle, and what this is going to do is it's going to fix all of those fabric fibers in place around the edge of the circle so that when I cut it out, it does not fray. I'm going to do this before I cut it out so that everything is nice and clean. It doesn't even have a chance to fray. And let that dry. I'm going to set that aside and let that dry, and work on some other decorations on the cover while that all sets up. So I've cut a piece of fabric that has the word Le Jardin on it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. My French isn't awesome. And I've also got a piece of paper that I have hand painted and drawn on. I've used that paper in several places throughout the journal. And I've cut some decorative corners on it, and I'm thinking of putting this on the spine. Sorry, I probably could have cut the spot out. Lots of noise in the background. I apologize for that. So I'm just grabbing some extra pieces of fabric and trying to decide what I want to do. I want kind of a layered, patchworky look that's going to bring in some different fabrics. So I grabbed a piece of this vintage bed sheet, kind of cottagey style, and I am kind of draping this over the spine, front to back. This with Fabri-Tac. I have a piece of lace I want to use, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to place another fabric underneath it. And I've used this green fabric in a couple of places in the journal, but it does, you know, it's very, very dark compared to everything else I'm using. So I think layering it below this lace is going to be a good way to pull that in without it being overly dramatic. Now I'm just checking kind of what I want to do size-wise. I decided to cut that piece in 2 pieces. I'm deciding to cut this piece narrower so that it fits on the spine better. I'm all over the place here. I'm just kind of going with the flow, letting the creative process take place. There is no plan, folks. There is no plan. Deciding which way to place that so that I can still see some of the floral underneath. And there we go. Making sure that fits. Sewing break. Got that all sewn around now, and I'm going to put these little lace and fabric bits on the cover. One on the front, or excuse me, this would be the back, I think. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of this lace curtain up in the corner. Like using that silicone brush to pat in the glue when I'm using lace in that. I keep wanting to use this little kitten thing, and I never did find a place in the journal to use that, I don't think. That just didn't seem to go well. So now I'm looking through my Bitty Bits bag of lace goodies, and I found a cute little embroidered bee. I did not actually embroider this. This came off of, I think, a pillowcase or something, but since I'm putting embroidered work on the cover, I thought this would be a good opportunity to use that. So just looking for some more goodies. Another piece of fabric. This was fabric that I used, if you remember, on the pockets on the interior of the cover. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to bring it to the outside of the cover, just kind of tie that in. So looking for a place to glue that, and I decided another patch kind of going over the spine from the front cover to the back cover would be a good place to do that. It's got a pinked edge and some angled ends, so it adds some interest. Decided I wanted to possibly put another piece of this up front, since that ended up being on the small side, but wasn't quite sure how to place it, and then decided that right there along the bottom would be good. On cutting another piece of that lace curtain. To find another, like, place another piece in the corner. Just deciding how that's going to be placed the best. really struggling with my Fabri-Tac this day. It's gotten pretty thick and tacky in the bottle, so at this point I need to thin it down a little bit with some acetone. But yeah, struggled with it this entire session. Patting that in with that silicone brush so my fingers don't get sticky. And get those flower petals all patted down nice. Now I'm looking for a piece of lace. That one I felt wasn't see-through enough. I was losing everything else I had done, so I'm looking for one that gives me the effect I'm looking for. And I decide on this sweet little piece that is more of a creamy color and it's got more of a sheer look to it. So I decide I want to lay that underneath that bit of lace curtain for a layering and then have it come down the whole edge. So I can still see the fabric coming through. And I'm going to put another piece on the corner of the spine. And I'm battling with the Fabri-Tac again. Does anybody else struggle with this? Because I do. I will say after this session, I actually switched to hot glue for a bit instead of Fabri-Tac because I was kind of done with it. I have a real love-hate relationship with Fabri-Tac. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you love Fabri-Tac? Do you hate Fabri-Tac? What do you do when it gets all thick in the bottle, when it starts kind of aging a little bit? You know what I'm talking about. Like, it's still good glue. There's still plenty in the bottle. It's not like you let it sit there with the cap open and dry all the time, but it gets thick as it gets older. But I don't know. Anyway. Maybe it's just me and I'm weird. So I'm just trimming off the little lace pieces. This one I'm going to put on the edge almost like it's a closure. I didn't actually use a closure on this cover, but that one just kind of, that little piece of fabric, green fabric and lace, just hangs over the edge as though it were a closure. Cutting my fabric and embroidery circle out because I want to know where I'm placing that on the cover before I get too much further. And I've decided I'm going to put a little bit of gilding wax around the edge because I know I need something to finish that edge off. It's just looking a little too plain for me. So gilding wax I'm putting on, and I'm going to see how that looks. And I decided, you know what this really could use is some beads. So I decide I'm going to spend the next, I can't even tell you how long, beading this sucker around the edge. I would say it probably took me a good hour or more, maybe, probably more. I'll have to look at the raw footage, see how long it actually took me. Or I may have shut the camera off at some point because I knew I was just like beating up footage, but you were not going to have to watch me bead this whole thing, but I do bead around the entire edge of the circle, but it looks fantastic, so well worth it. These little seed beads are glass and they're kind of a chartreusey green, which I think was just a fabulous choice for this. It gives it some vibrancy, but still kind of a vintagey color, a little bit funky, but you know, my style, eclectic vintagey, funky vintagey, eclectic funky vintagey. Anyway, so just getting my needle and thread ready, and my method for doing this was to onto a stitch and then 3 beads onto a back stitch, kind of a back stitch to do it. just did that all the way around the edge. So yeah, like I said, it took forever, but I think you'll agree with me that the effect is well worth it. So yeah, a lot of handwork went into this journal. There's that embroidery piece is all hand done by me, and the beading and some of the hand painted paper and everything that's in there. So yeah, a lot of handwork in this journal. So I hope whoever ends up with this and enjoys that aspect of it. Kind of put my heart and soul into these. I don't have a formula for my journals. I know a lot of makers do because they make a lot of them and they want to get through a lot of them quickly, and so they kind of have a formula for how they do their journals. Mine are all very, very individual and custom. I never know how one's going to turn out because it just, you know, the creative process just flows. There's never a plan. So yeah, put that little bee buddy on the outside looking at those flowers. And we definitely needed some more gilding paste or gilder's wax. That's Matt sneezing in the background. Bless you. Trying now to, again, with the dang Fabri-Tac, just a struggle. I'm going to finally put that little spine book plate on. And I think that looks so cute. So back to the bitty bits. We're gonna find some more. We're gonna find some more pieces to put on here. I don't know why. Like usually I'm not all about like let's add layer upon layer upon layer of lace and stuff, but for this journal, I don't know, I was just kind of feeling it for the cover a little bit. So I decided to add more embellishment than I maybe normally would. Bows are cute. I think Mom finds these maybe in an Etsy store, maybe some shop online. I'm not sure. She will have to let you know where she finds her lace goodies. But then she shares with me when she gets some. But usually, like, the little bits of lace are part of a larger lace pattern, and then she snips everything apart. And that's how we get all these little bits of lace goodies to use. And then all my little ribbon flowers and stuff, I just found a really good clearance sale at Michael's at one point and just kind of bought everything they had in colors that I would actually use. a couple pieces for the back, but probably not, didn't want to do too much. But decided that I did need another little embroidered critter. This butterfly I actually did embroider myself. I have a few, several that I did. I kind of came up with a quick method to embroider butterflies. So if you want to know how to do embroidered butterflies to make your own little embellishments, let me know in the comments and I will do a tutorial. So I think they're kind of cute. Just doing some shifting around here. And we finally did end up with that piece up in the corner. I think I played with that I don't know how many different times. And then decided to add these little tiny beige flowers, kind of make a pattern along the spine, along the back, because, you know, if you're going to go all out, really do it up. So that's what I did, and I think it turned out cute, so I'm happy with it. Despite my battling with the Fabri-Tac, this really was a fun session. I enjoyed decorating this cover. I think it turned out really well. And another cute little butterfly. That's it. So here's a couple of pictures of the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, please, and leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. And I will see you next time. Bye.